It's not I Dream of Jeans.
Greetings, pals!
Greetings, pals.
Greetings, pals.
Welcome to the podcast Throwing the Pal. My name is Frank.
My name is Marcus.
My name's Tom.
And here we are, another normal day, recording the podcast together as friends.
Not
As
only
pals.
recording it together as friends, but this is our first take as well. So it's like, it's just steamrolling straight ahead. Real
We're very
professional
good.
stuff.
And we've never, ever lied to our listeners, ever.
We never would. We never would
No,
lie to
not
you.
at all.
Oh, my Lord. What are we doing here, Frank? Explain the situation before we move on.
Well, this is the podcast Throwing the Pal. We debate.
Not
I've still
that
got
situation.
It. Still got it.
Not that
Love it or hate
situation.
it. Love it or hate it, we debate it.
No.
That's the most important thing.
Why are we not like arms around each other in a loving
Why are we not
embraces?
pals
Because
anymore,
we
apparently?
never do that. We never were.
Okay, sorry, my bad. End of
That's
question.
the
That's
whole
the only
conceit of the
question I have. I have no further questions.
Let's not talk about it. It's not important. We'll cover it later. So we're talking about 28 years later with Danny
are.
Boyle.
With
Alex
Danny
Garland
Boyle.
wrote it.
Daddy, sit down.
No. Thank God he's not here because he's
No,
scared me.
yeah.
Danny Boyle directed, Alex Garland wrote it, starring Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Rafe Fines,
Oh, starts
and
with Jodie.
not introducing, but we should say Alfie Williams in a star
Young Spike.
turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young Spike.
Yep.
And older as the movie goes on. He gets older.
Yeah,
As
time
did
passes
we all.
a
already.
couple of days.
As did we all.
Not
So-
28 years. So
Yeah.
Are you going to
well,
do
hold
a little synopsis here, Frank?
Well, I want to say, I can do, but on this film on this podcast we rate films out of 11.
The catchphrase.
I know it's been so long.
We
So
do. Why
Thomas-
is that, Tom?
Before I came in today, I had one, and I'm just trying to. There was something in this that was 11 inches that I can't fully
damn it.
remember what it was.
I was wondering. I'm like, could he do this without that?
There's something. Well, can you remember what it was? Because you seem to have recalled. Like, what was?
Don't spin this on me. This is your bit.
That's what everyone in the movie said to the Alpha when he started running at them. Don't spin this on me. Real windmill.
Wow,
Big old
I mean,
floppy cock.
this is so
big old floppy
graphic.
zombie
Yeah.
cock in this
All right.
movie.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about it.
I guess we'll get it out of our system.
Unless
early.
you haven't seen it, and then it's like, sorry, how did again? If this
Spoilers.
is someone's first episode of Throwing the Pal, and that's how you bring them in,
Yeah.
come on.
I'm
All
sorry.
right.
He's not.
He's not sorry. He'll never be sorry.
never be
Okay,
sorry.
I'll do a quick synopsis, guys. Are you ready for this?
Go.
A group of survivors of the rage virus live on a small island. When one of the group leaves the island on a mission into the mainland, he discovers secrets, wonders, and horrors that have mutated not only the infected, but other survivors.
That was beautifully done.
Rage.
Wow,
Remember
rage
that?
virus.
Back in the day.
Rage.
What was the definitive? Because we think about like definitive MTV bands, I suppose, as being kind of like
Thomas, no.
late
So
80s, early
shout
90s.
your name. No,
I guess
no,
like Danny
shout your
Minogue
name.
was like a big rage thing.
Do we
Shout
bore you?
it.
Is that why you do that?
Regurgitator. Regurgitator is a good rage
Yeah,
band.
cool. That
You
would
are
be
a
your. That would
regurgitator
definitely
of
your band
information.
name.
Shout your name if you like this film.
Oh!
Marcus.
Frank!
What? Actually, no.
Legitimately thought this was really good.
This is wild. Okay.
And I think something's changed within me. Something is not the same.
Go
Stop.
on. Do you have any other thoughts?
I'm through with playing by the rules.
Yeah.
What's that from? Is that from something?
Oh, who cares?
Yes, I think so.
That'd be good lyrics.
From your
No,
one-man
honestly,
show, let me be frank.
Okay, well, let's quickly do scores. Give us numbers.
Yeah.
I don't want to go first. Shotgun.
I'll start first because I think mine will be the lowest. So I'm
Okay,
going to go 7.
Ooh.
Wow. Nice.
Okay, you don't just because
We're just like trying to keep things rolling. All right.
I'll put it in later.
People
funny.
listening to this, if we don't address it, are going to be like, these guys are super giddy today and a little bit more erratic than you. What's happened? What's
Yeah, Tom's
changed?
sweatier than ever.
Oh, God. Oh, the numbers.
So shiny.
I'm going to go.
The people on YouTube will be fine,
8.
but
I'm going to go.
Wow, no,
sorry.
no, you missed
it.
7 and 8.
Okay.
I'm just like one of those zombies on a good day when they find a fresh human. They're 8.
Yeah. I'm
You know?
7.5.
Oh.
Oh.
Bling, bling, bling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to sit in the middle
Okay,
of you
so-
two. I think that's a good
Wow,
spot
that's
to
really
be.
boring. That's really boring from all of us.
Has
Obviously, I
the
was
pod
shocked.
outlived its usefulness at this point?
From
Maybe
episode
3
one,
years
Thomas.
ago.
Yeah.
Probably 3 years ago.
Wow. What are we
I obviously
saying?
expected to hate this film. I hated 28 weeks later, which I watched days prior to this.
That was my next
How many
question.
days prior?
20.
Okay. Good.
Could have
Round
just
number.
gone.
Yeah, great.
Could have just gone with the joke.
Yeah, like
Sure.
shut up with the 28. Anyway,
Yeah.
We've previously done 28 days later on this pod.
Yes,
the
we
early
have.
days,
Yes.
And you weren't a fan of that, Frank.
no, that was awful.
But you
And I feel
still
like it
gave it
didn't-
a like, didn't you? Or did
No,
you
I
not?
don't think so. I think you were
No,
like
maybe
a
not.
3 or 4 even. You were
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
into it.
Okay.
And I don't think I would be even if I went back and watched it again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kind of crazy to
Do you
me.
think you should give it some amount of time, like a gap between, that maybe you can come back to it and revisit it again?
So there was. Do you know what I think was great about this film is it it contained multitudes. You know how some films are
and
like,
then
I'm
some.
one thing, and don't worry about it. This film just traverses emotion in a really capable way, like in a way that you go, oh, I'm surprised that I'm feeling that, because obviously it's a horror film. Obviously it's made pretty dramatically, you would say. Like it's erratic, the dramatic cuts, the interjection between scenes, obscure camera angles, etc., right? And then the bit where you're talking about old mate with his, his length,
Flopper,
and he's chasing them down the sandbank.
Yeah.
The most horrifying, suspenseful moment. I was like, okay, I'm not enjoying this.
Swing and hog like a metronome.
Imagine if that thing hit you in the face. Talk about what did we say last week? What was it? Heavy on the dong?
Yeah.
No.
Hold the dong.
Dong on the
maybe?
nose? Dong on the nose.
Oh,
A bit
penis
on
to
the dong.
nose,
Oh, it's a bit
maybe.
on the dong.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Penis on the nose.
Yeah.
Penis on the nose is what
That's the studio note Danny got, and every time he got that note, he added an inch
Yeah.
until they stopped giving him the note. So just like, all right, he's gonna have it. So yeah, the
And then
alpha's pretty
obviously-
crazy.
Yeah, the alpha, is that his name?
It's
The
called
alpha.
the alpha, yes. And
Although he's an alpha, I don't think he's the alpha.
no, that's true. It's not a definite article. It
I
is
think
that
Aaron
there
Taylor
are-
Johnson is the alpha.
That's interesting.
That is
Yeah.
an interesting take. That's a
You
take.
thinking that is why you are not the alpha of this podcast.
This
I
is
think-
this is a
yeah.
room full of betas, mate. There is no alphas in here.
That's true. You better believe it. This is hacked.
That's actually
All right.
the second name of the podcast.
I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to jump in here real quick.
Sorry about
Tom,
Yeah, go
Tom
for
and I watched this together. This is another one where we've graced the film together, and
Because where was I? Was I
because you
busy,
left us,
or-
yeah.
Okay.
Hey, it's all on you, pal. We watched this together. This was another experience where I would turn to Tom for some sort of reaction. He was pretty stone cold for a lot of it, but I did get some pretty visible and audible reactions from him in key moments. And
Yeah.
but I
There's one-
genuinely thought coming into this record, he was going to be a strong dislike, like strong.
Wow. Really?
And I thought you, Frank, just for the genre and just what the violence that it presents, would probably come in disliking, but somewhat justifying it for maybe the levels of humanity that are stored in this film. Like, I think you would have found the good in
100%.
something that you kind of despise by nature.
Like
that's-
finding
it's-
a healthy baby inside a zombie belly, for example.
Yeah,
Like, just
and
as
look-
a sort of metaphor for that.
I am curious because obviously I've scored this a 7.5 and I went into this wanting to love it. Like, I wanted so bad to love this movie. I adore 28 Days Later. 28 Weeks Later is still very rewatchable for me, although it has its issues. It's problematic. I kind of hoped this would be a step back in the right direction. My take here, real quick, not to keep yammering on, although it's unusual for
Yammering?
you boys let me just yammer on today. It's kind of nice.
I
They
think
call
it's
you the
just
yammer.
the delay between the bandwidth.
Oh, is that
I'm
what
not
it
really
is?
sure what's happening. No. I'm interested. I like hearing what you have to say.
My hot take on this is I genuinely feel like this is episodic in terms of films. These are not interconnected. It shares the same world, the same universe, the same rules to an extent. I think it was naive of our audiences, for those especially that online have greatly disliked this film, to go in expecting a sequel, a direct sequel to either film. I think that's where a lot of the problem stems from. That being said, this film does present some questionable choices along the way. For the most part, I thought it was kind of sensational. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what rules apply? Because it's so interesting when, the rage virus is transferred through bodily fluids.
Yep.
But then in 28 weeks later, you've got the mum who's she
like
can
an
carry
immune
it, but
carrier.
she's immune. Yeah. So
Yeah,
maybe there's
yeah.
going to be a cure or something. And
I
then
think
that's
the
not mentioned
son
in this
as
film.
well. I think that's implied, the son in that as well.
Yeah, but then he
Yeah, they won't
Takes
kill
it.
the son, which I think is a great choice in that movie, that they let that kid live all the way to the end. He's really carrying that film on his little shoulders.
He's the problematic part.
And he is so annoying in that movie. I find it so frustrating.
Wow,
having
you're
to
shitting
do
on the
that
kid. That's right.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I think the kids are the big problems in 1 and 2, 28 days and 28 weeks later, and this movie solves the kid problem, which I'm very impressed by. The kid is good in this movie. The kid's the problem in 28 Days Later as well, the girl. Lucy,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
She's
You're right.
the fucking worst thing about that movie. Unfortunately, no offense. I heard she's lovely. Now, I don't know. That's
These
true,
kids
maybe.
just can't act.
This is
Yeah,
not
they
a
just can't
commentary
act.
on the actresses and the actors.
It's not, but it is a problem that I just thought was weirdly consistent across those two. And in this one, it's like, no, Spike's good. I really like Spike. I think it's a really
something
touching
when
performance.
like when you get a kid actor who's good, like Alfie Williams or Haley Joel Osment. Like, you remember when you were like, oh, kids can act. Like, that was a thing that I guess you were like just expecting kids to be at a certain level. But then there are some kids who come along and you just go, wow, they just, the way they can emote, and it's powerful to see.
Yeah.
The films do rest on their shoulders because it's so easy that they're going to take us out of it.
I'm going to say this straight up. Who did this kid remind you of? Like, dead set, I couldn't shake it. Did he? Did you?
I mean, he's got a bit of a
him?
Jamie Bell vibe.
Oh,
if that's
my
what you were thinking.
God, it's Jamie Bell, bro.
I agree with that on some level. I think Jamie.
Billy Elliot.
I think
guy's
Jamie's
good.
a little bit more flinty. Like in Billy Elliot, his whole thing is like, I really can't show vulnerability, and that is a theme of this movie: the vulnerability that is not sort of allowed or permitted in that community that they've developed, and how he needs to go outside of it to find permission to be that way.
I guess I retract my statement to a point. I think he sounds so much like Jamie Bell. It was kind of uncanny to me. I think Aaron Taylor-Johnson was the spitting image, like close your eyes, you can hear it, to Robert Carlyle in 28 Weeks.
Sure. Yeah, like similar
the
timbre.
dad character, it kind of felt the same energy almost in a weird way.
Yeah.
Without being a piece of shit. I think Aaron...
He's-
I retract that statement too.
Yeah, I
No,
don't
he's
know
a
if
piece of shit.
I mean, this is the second 2025 movie we've watched where pussy eating is central to the film, and I would argue thematically very.
I don't like your new bit.
It's not my
don't know
bit.
if
It's,
through
it's
line.
Hollywood's bit. All right, I'm just here.
Tom
If
thinks
there's
it's
a
the
new
decade of the pussy.
if there's a new Paddington coming out this year, guess what he's doing in that movie? Like, I'm just saying. It seems.
But you think
Paddington
it's-
puss. That makes sense.
you see more cocks flopping around now than you ever did in film and TV. I would argue that it's like the year of
I
the
would say
penis.
it's almost a movement for gender equality finally.
Maybe.
But I
It's
would
just,
say, Thomas,
just free
your
the
point-
bits.
Free the bits. Couldn't
Free
agree
the
more.
bits.
Free the bits. Thomas,
Hashtag.
your cunnilingus bit stands up for Sinners, but I don't think it really stands up here.
I just
But
wanted
I do
to
want to talk
mention
about.
it.
Of course you did. And we should honour that moment. I think it's interesting that Aaron Taylor-Johnson has the moment at the end of redemption, you would say, where you do see his character's emotional reaction to like his son leaving and his
He's not
wife
in this film for
dying.
a great deal, if you think about it.
It's a very bisected narrative, and it feels like two movies sandwiched together in a way that surprisingly mostly works.
Yeah.
But I've seen it twice now. I watched it with Marcus a couple of weeks ago, and I got to see it again last night. And knowing it was coming this time, it was like, it really is very close to the halfway point of the movie, where it's just like, and now we're with mum. And it's going to be like that complete sort of parallel narrative between spending the day with dad, spending a day or two with mum.
Yeah.
And I think it weirdly works, even though the first time I had problems with it. I liked it a lot more the second time.
Interesting.
The way that unfolds. I think Aaron Taylor-Johnson is as good in this as anything I've seen him in. I find
I
him
was
just like,
going to say
God,
this is
good. This is a good, really good performance. I like him.
It's like Kick-Ass and then this.
Basically, there's not a lot in between. For Angus Thong's in Perfect Snogging, which may be before Kick-Ass, but he's kind of cute in that movie. And yeah,
Look,
I don't hate him in Bullet Train. I think he's just doing like silly.
Yeah, but it's a bit
kind of funny.
I think
this has
I'm
some
Aaron
depth.
Taylor. I'm Team Aaron Taylor. I think I always have been. I think I've batted for him far more than you two have historically.
You what with Aaron Taylor?
I see what I said.
You've been jacking what?
He looks good, guys.
Yeah.
He's a
does
fit
look good.
man.
He's a
He's
fit
a good,
man.
and also I would say he's the best runner on screen we've ever seen. I've said that before, and I'll say it again.
This
He's
is
the
like
best
my
sprinter.
Joe Pesci bit. Every time there's a runner on screen, you're just gonna say
He's-
and the running, did you see it? It's like
He's
yeah,
good,
it's-
and he looks fast. He looks
it's
ferocious.
good. He can move. It's pretty good.
I-
I think
I-
there was a better runner in this movie. Honestly,
just
if I had
'cause
to pick the best running, it was from another character who was
Yeah.
hot on his heels. Honestly,
I think I don't really like Aaron Taylor for his Hollywood persona. I think he's a bit what's the
bit
word I'm
wanky.
looking for? A little bit wanky.
Well, I
think he's a hardworking actor. I think that he's great on screen. I think that he lends something to every film that he's in, whether it be a great statement or not. I think that he's serviceable in whatever he does. Is my take on him.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess I don't despise. I don't find him as annoying as some actors. I just most of the time go like, when I see him, he doesn't.
Sure,
Really do much
okay.
for me. But
No,
yes,
that's cool.
He's very good in this.
So, what do we want to do here in terms of the structure? Because the film itself is so chaotic at times, and then there's so many shifts in terms of tone, in terms of theme, in terms of I don't even know where to start. This was my problem with this film. It took me how many weeks ago was this, Tom? We saw it 2?
28, I believe. Thanks, Frank.
But like, it took me this long to
would have been
process.
it would have been almost 2 by now.
Yeah,
Maybe even longer.
and
Yeah.
every day since watching it, I've been thinking about this movie.
I walked out of it and was like, I can't talk about that without watching it again. Like,
Yeah.
my first thought the second it ended was, like,
Yeah.
especially the way this movie ended. I was like, right, well, whatever critical faculties I
Yeah.
had watching this movie, the last 10 minutes of it just kind of bashed them out of you, and you just go,
Yeah.
oh, okay, sure.
I think.
That's
Oh
the-
no, you go, Frank. Sorry.
Well, I just think that's the moment I knew Tom would like this movie.
I wasn't so sure about it the first time. When it happened the first time, I was like, that is jarring, and that is incredibly not something I love movies doing, which is calling their shot. And I have
Yep.
to be really convinced that they know where they're going and have a path forward. So, like, similar to, do you know the Spider-Verse, like the second Spider-Verse movie, Across the Spider-Verse, does the same thing. You're like 2.5 hours in and something happens and you're like, wait a second, does this movie have like another hour left? And then it goes credits. And you're like, what the fuck? And we're still left wondering where that's
Yeah.
going.
So
Or
for the
do you-
listener, this film obviously has its continuation. This is being built into a standalone trilogy. So this is the first of.
Is it
3
actually?
films. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, there's another one coming out in January, directed
Yeah,
by...
like 6 months later.
Is
Yeah.
it going to be
So it'll
Ian
be-
Costa? I'm not.
What are they
going
gonna call it?
The Bone Temple, the
Bone
Boneyard.
Temple. I think it's
Ah,
the Bone Temple.
was trying to
Bullseye's ready. Sorry,
It's called 28 Years Later, the Bone Temple. I
I
think.
believe
like,
that's true. Yes.
Yeah. So the abruptness makes a lot of sense, and I think that Aaron Taylor's what I think is very shortened arc in this is obviously prolonged to see how this fleshes out. You've got the son, you've got the dad, you've got the community,
Jimmy.
you've got the
Jack
doctor.
O'Connell just popping in.
Where
He was on
I-
the Sinners set, and he walked across the lot and tore everything off. He put on a jumpsuit and a tiara.
I was
and he
hoping we'd
there.
save this for the end, like really at the end, because that's the most wild part of the film without question.
It is wild because I mean, for the listener, the film opens with young Jimmy, and his house is getting attacked, and his mum tries to lock him away, and then the zombies get in. He runs to the church, and his dad is the priest, who's like a zealot for zombies and thinks this is the second coming, and is like,
losing
yes,
his
eat me,
mind.
my children.
Yeah.
The
Crazy,
first
crazy.
moment in the movie that I find like transcendently gripping is when the zombies pour in and he starts going, yes, yes,
Yeah.
and as they're eating him, you see him start to turn, but he's still screaming yes at the top of his lungs. I was just like, this. I'm so glad Danny Boyle's making movies.
I
This
thought it
is
was
fucking insane.
transcendent when we saw the Teletubbies. Do you know
I mean,
what
that's true. I could have used more of that. Yeah.
Honestly,
so-
it was a nice. It lulled me in. I was like, this
Yeah.
is going to be a cute film.
This is great because like you open a film with straight away, it's just like kids are getting killed. This is straight
But
up.
they do this. They did this like 20. I don't forget how 28 Days Later opens, but 28 Weeks
28
Later
Days
opens
is the
in a
monkeys,
very similar fashion.
and then Cillian
Yeah.
Murphy wandering through empty London. But then, yes, 28 Weeks, you're right, is basically like a house being torn apart. So it is kind of tying on from that.
It's a great way to open a film.
Dimension to the movie that I think there are some people, I haven't read everything online, like you were saying, Marcus, that there are some people who aren't really enjoying this movie, or they're not taking to it that much.
Yeah.
And I can see why people would have issues with it, but I think people are trying to get a little too obvious and maybe restricted with the movie's view on things. They go like, oh, this is a movie about religion, or this is a movie about immigrants, or this is a movie about like community or fascism, or it's about like gender roles. And to me, I'm just kind of like, it is about, I think, all of those things, and in a lot of ways that are not particularly direct or not too I think that the fact that it opens with Jimmy in a room full of young girls, and then they get slaughtered in front of him, and the rest of the movie follow, and then his father like rejecting the chance to embrace or help him, but instead turning towards religion, and then where Jimmy ends up going, and then the way we see how the community that Spike and Aaron Taylor Johnson and Jodie Comer live in is so geared around traditional, very if not primitive, just
a
kind
little
of very like
period based, like,
very state central ideas of
and you
what
also
power is and how to maintain the
and you have that masculine rite of passage, right, where the young boys go out to get their first kill,
and then
all
it's a
those
lie. The narrative, it's a myth already. It's
Yeah.
the act of myth making, and it's Spike being like, "But I didn't," and he's like, "Yeah, you did, you fucking geezer," or whatever. You know, like he's they're always trying to create this idea of like what a man should be, and I think Jimmy's encounter at the start of that movie is really interesting. I can't resist talking about this now because I might forget. Shout out to the guy, the second viewing of this, who left the cinema maybe 8 minutes before the end. So he left, and I thought, oh, he's over the movie. He hates it. And he left when Spike was still out on his own.
Yeah.
And then he came back from the bathroom 30 seconds before the end of the movie. So he left while Spike's just out cooking a fish, and he comes back, and these tracksuited blonde people are killing these zombies to death. And I saw him sit down and go, what the fuck? Like, he looked side to side, like, what is happening? And then the movie ended, and he looked so confused.
Tom, I don't think it makes a difference. He could have sat in this seat and had the same reaction.
But at least he would have known, like, I guess that's the movie. Rather
We
than
saw
like,
how it panned out, and I was still reacting the same way.
He might have just been, how long was I gone? Like, did I just take an hour-long shit and come back?
Did I
to
walk
this?
into the wrong cinema?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, guys, and just leaves.
Exactly.
Such a jarring.
It's a great ending.
It's a really bold choice. I think it lands in a strangely comical way, and you're like,
Oh, yeah.
fuck yeah.
This is, I suppose,
Language.
my issue with the film is that the tone shifts just a little too jarring at times. This whole thing feels like a Danny Boyle, Alex Garland, hold my beer moment. Like, we're going to show you every trick in the book that we've got in terms of filmmaking, and then some. We're going to give you amazing camera pans. We're going to give you fucking 20 iPhones tracking someone as they run. We're going to give you all this shit. It was quite impressive from a filmmaking perspective. This film looks incredible. My issue with it, and why I didn't score it higher than 7.5, is that the tone of it is, at times, the comedy's too silly. Just too silly.
Are you thinking of Eric?
Okay, firstly, take that motherfucker out of this movie.
I have mixed feelings on Eric. I think he's funny. I think he serves a purpose. I'm laughing while thinking, does this belong?
It doesn't service the film at all. I understand he's a device to me, he's a device to explain or remind our audience there's a world going on outside of this, moving ahead in a straight line, and this is just a quarantine zone. Yeah. He's just that physical reminder of that. I don't care about him. I don't care about his bullshit monologue. I don't care about the goofiness of him. I internally applauded when his fucking skull got ripped out of his torso. I was like, thank God we're rid of him.
Wow. Okay.
That was my feeling. Nothing to do with the actor. Great actor. He was quite, like, in another film, I kind of would have liked that character. He's a douchebag, but I could see his purpose almost just in the wrong movie.
I see your point of, like, it didn't service the story or anything like that, because it's strange that what you obviously think is, well, at least Spike will get the gun and be able to use that to defend them as they journey on, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it is purely a reminder of the outside world, and maybe some levity. Maybe it's the purpose of levity, just to have him there for a break. And also this whole film, right? You're sitting on a knife's edge of like what's going to happen. You know something's about to happen. The tension is building, right? And you need that. It's like a long form break of tension, so then you can go back in. Like that whole, because then the next section is then with Rafe Fines, and that's really calm.
I see what
But
you're
at
saying.
no point in those scenes do you feel on edge. Like it's the shift in filmmaking between we're safe with this guy with a gun, right? Air quotes safe, but you don't feel safe the entire time.
Yeah.
Yet they get to the Rafe Fines section, and you feel immediately safe.
But that's executed so beautifully, I think, and I think that's a great shift to give you a breather. I don't necessarily need a breather from a film like this. I go in to a film like this for the first half of it. The tension that I was feeling in certain moments was palpable. Like it was, I could breathe it out. It was unbelievable, and it didn't stop. And I was very conscious of my heart and the rhythm of it beating as I watched it all the way through. And then I got that sense of calm and safety almost with Rafe Fiennes, because he is, I mean, we'll talk about that in a second, but I think he is so good in this movie. Just Eric gone. That's my point. I just think that was not the moment. The Rafe Fiennes stuff is. More to your point.
I not entirely disagree, but I disagree because I did want a break, and it is a night for me. I was like, okay, I know, like it gives me a second, even though I know he's going to die or
but
someone's going to die.
You're not the audience for this, Frank. That's the problem with that statement. Do you know what I mean? You're like, oh, thank God I get a break from this. It's like, this is not designed for you. You don't like this
feeling,
this genre, this feeling. Of course, you're not going to like that. Me.
But
maybe Tom, I don't know, I haven't heard from Tom yet, but like I want that feeling all the way through. I want to feel exhausted by the end, just be like, fuck yeah, that was horrifying. And that's what I think Danny Boyle does so well. What I miss, I love the iPhone and the quality of it all, beautiful to look at. I kind of miss the graininess and all the like the dirty sort of filming, the guerrilla filming almost. That to me is 28 Days.
We get some of that, but not as much. You're right. No. But we get the weird tinted dream sequences. We get the use of like stock footage during the montages at the beginning, and that insane recitation, up, moving up and down again, left, keep it going faster. Like that shit, the more that builds, it just...
Do you like that?
To me, I think that's incredible. I think it's so moving in a very weird and atonal way that I think Boyle's very good at, by being like, I know this has got to be a commercially viable film, but what if I just like fuck with you for a little while? And I just like the idea of people coming to see that movie and being like, what am I seeing right now?
You know, the red lens that they use, that cutaway footage of I don't know. It's hard to describe what we're looking at, I guess, but
sometimes
it's these like,
it just looks like
cultish zombies, feeding, and then
a bloody death field, and they're all just munching on whatever.
Tom, it reminded me that footage there gave me a very the Descent feeling.
Yeah, it's like a Neil Marshall sort of moment, which I think is really greatly used, but not overdone throughout.
A film that Frank would not sit through.
I don't know if that's entirely true. I think he'd have to stand, otherwise the pee would just gather in his pants. So he'd have to kind of let it drain somewhere.
Yeah, I've heard The Descent is not for me.
No, it's not for you. Did that give you a visceral reaction? The cutaway footage, Frank?
Yeah, what do you think of that?
Yeah.
Well, these moments where it's. I mean, I more PP when it's happening to the characters that you care about.
Sure.
You know, like those cutaways, I'm like, yeah, gross, but I don't find it a problem. I don't find it off-putting for the film on a whole. The moments that, like, when you just think there's no chance they can escape, that first outing where Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Spike go out and they see the tall alpha on the hill, and then the bunch of zombies just come chasing them into the house. You know they're going to survive, or you think like there's a likelihood they'll get out, but then there's that fear of that. How do they get past this guy?
Yeah.
That's what really freaks me out. I'm like, I cannot see a way out for them. That's when I start to get.
Yeah. It's an incredible use of distance as like anxiety inducing, because you think the further away something is, the more you have an option to sort of evade it or something. But because it's such a clear open field, because of the slant and the way that we're looking up at this guy and the way the sun is hitting the back of them, the second they appear, you're like, that's more frightening than if they just appeared behind them in the woods now. Because I know they'd have to engage immediately, but now I know they're coming and they have to work something. And
it's that strange thing of like
creepy.
Every zombie we've seen or rage person we've seen is out of control, doesn't have any understanding of what's going on, and then Alpha, you know, he's processing something and he's like, he's stalking them, he's waiting for them, and it's like, oh, they've evolved, oh, there's a new level of threat, oh, it's actually dangerous. Like, because most zombie films are like, if you get unlucky, if you get bitten or whatever, it's like, yeah, cool, we've got guns, we'll shoot our way through, 2 of you will die, but the rest of us will be fine. And it's just like, it's maths more than survival. Whereas this is like, okay, they actually have to figure something out.
That Uruk looking motherfucker from the Lord of the Rings, like he looks like just a big orc, didn't he? He was huge.
He was.
But do you know what?
It was.
I kind of don't like Alpha, and I kind of didn't like any narrative attached to Alpha either. This is another grievance.
Did you like this film?
I loved this film. I really did. But what I'm saying is it was far from a perfect film, and I had so many issues with it, and yet it had a lot of the pieces of a film that I love in terms of filmmaking and narrative and story, performances. It's all there. But some of the grievances I had was so heavy that it took me out at moments, and I was like, how dare you? Like, I'm really wanting to enjoy this more. Stop with that shit. Alpha?
Stop with the stuff that I like. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and I understand that this rage virus, from where it stems, you know, a virus will evolve. You know, this whole thing was bound to evolve. I think their choices with the evolution of it were just, again, too silly for me to buy into. It had this sort of, and Tom, this is a reference you'll understand, but like a Left 4 Dead sort of thing, or a Walking Dead thing, where all of a sudden you've got these alphas, you've got smokers, you've got bloaters, you've got these different types of zombie that have evolved into. But not only that, it's like they all look the same. You've got 50 bloaters. All of a sudden, these fat ones are all crawling across the ground. They all look identical, and they're eating worms and shit, and there's nothing explained as to how... just anything. I need more than that. I can't look at that and buy into it. It was silly. It was just a little bit stupid.
Yeah, but what about when he's crawling up to Spike and he just starts eating the shoelace blindly?
Give me one. Give me one of those. Have one fat one crawling across the ground, and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, yeah.
And sucking on his shoelaces and shit. Don't explain that to me. That's fine. But all of a sudden you've got it's eating worms first, and now his shoelaces are worms. I don't need that crap. It's
in my mind, it's like they're essentially blind, or they're just like, all they do is crawl and eat and just eat whatever they.
What are they, veggie?
Well, they're
vegan rage virus. What
a worm is it? A worm is an animal. A worm is protein.
Yeah, you see, it's a choice. Like it's
fucking veggie zombies sucking on these shoelaces.
Worms are my choice. Worms, not blood. Do you know what I mean?
Can I tell you something embarrassing?
Sure.
Yeah, you did when no, I didn't pee. In fact, I was actually pretty proud of myself. I was watching this and I was like, oh, Rafe Fines. Oh, like from the first one.
And I was like, Eccleston. Yeah, which is intentional. Right, like that's a really good pull, Frank. I think that it's like the third act appearance of this very hawkish, almost vulture cranium guy.
No, but I thought it was the same. I thought it was the same person.
Yes, I see. So I'm trying to give you credit for picking up on some parallel across the films, and you're like, no, Frank Dum Dum, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. If you want to go with that, that's okay. But I think like that is a good parallel.
Like we said at the start, I don't lie to the audience.
Okay,
yeah.
But I do like that Eccleston presents as like the sort of refuge, though he does have that menacing undertone to him, and then it becomes clear quietly.
It's Christopher Eccleston.
First see Rafe Fines, you're like, well, he looks like chorizo. Like, what's going on here? And then slowly, you go.
Well, just not one moment with Rafe Fines on screen. Because I thought, how did Christopher Eccleston's character become a good guy? That's what I thought, because immediately I knew Rafe Fines was a good person.
Did you not think the flashback was effective? I think it's an effective thing with Aaron Taylor-Johnson when he describes him waving to them with all the bodies. You're like, it's hard to not make that creepy. And then the more you learn about what he's been doing, making the bone temples.
Didn't think it was creepy. I thought Aaron Taylor-Johnson was in the... No. Legitimately, I thought, okay, Aaron Taylor-Johnson is a guy we're not meant to like or trust, right? Because he has he's lied about, Spike going and killing all these people. He's cheating on his wife. And then he tells the story of this doctor's insane. We're not going to go see the doctor. And you're like, okay, why? Like, what's your angle, Aaron Taylor-Johnson?
I think Frank has a really good point here, Tom, because I felt the same way.
Really smart.
No, well, it's the only time. It's nice. I think he's right because of the relationship we've now had to build with Aaron Taylor-Johnson. We've gone from this guy's such an endearing, caring, supportive, nurturing father to
like him cooking the eggs and stuff.
You dirty bastard! How dare you? How dare you do the things that you're doing? And the trust is immediately gone. So when he starts telling this story, I think Frank's 100% on the mark here. I go, nah, you're not telling us something, or you've fabricated a portion of this, or I don't know. I felt like Aaron was responsible for the doctor's position of where he was.
Yeah, sure. and you think hopefully in the next film, like, because maybe there's a story there, because obviously we should say Jamie, Aaron Taylor-Johnson's character, Jamie, has gone to the mainland several times, as we understood, but what has he done over there? Because
that's it.
There's no way he hasn't interacted with the doctor. There must be something there.
That's it. And I think at the end of it, maybe, I'm just taking a stab here, but I think that, I'm not justifying his behaviour. I think it's deplorable, but his reaction to his wife being as sick as she is and cheating on her and doing everything that he does, he's grieving, he's broken, he's lost. He's trying to do anything and the only thing that makes sense to him is to help his son develop and grow and push him to be what he is. That's all he knows, and so that's his direction. Outside of that, he doesn't know what he's doing with his life. I think he's just as lost and broken as anyone who's either in the village or outside.
As a zombie? As broken as a zombie?
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but my point is that there's a lot more to his story, which I'm excited to explore in the next two films.
I think it's interesting.
He did a really great job.
I think he did a wonderful job. I think it's interesting when you've got a world that is, how have morals survived when you are living, you're catching fish and like living off the land and trying to survive in a virus world with no support and no supplies, and you've gone back to, I guess, a primitive sort of age. Yet the moral compass is still there, even though they're going out and killing people every day and the things they would have been through. I found that really interesting and almost breathtaking to be like, you know what, it's still important to be a good person, even when you're killing zombies.
From
that's nice.
Danny and Alex to choose 28 years. They didn't go 28 months, mind you. We don't need to take note of that. They jumped from weeks to years, right?
I mean, 28 months is...
Well, I think they wanted that.
It's close to 2.5 years, Frank.
Yeah. I think they wanted that gap to be quite significant to show that what does carry through and what is lost over time. Some things, like we obviously commented on how they've gone back a time period. It's almost Shakespearean in a way. Like everything they're doing is it's period. They're doing everything by candlelight. They're speaking in verse and rhyme. It's very poetic.
What?
Did you not catch that? The big celebration that they were doing for Spike?
For Spike when he came back. Yeah, but they're not.
It's like a lucid dream.
Yeah,
almost.
Yeah. There's definitely some old school like Celtic tradition.
And they're learning verse, in school stuff, but they have all those things on the wall that like.
But it wasn't iambic pentameter.
I'm probably reaching a bit there, but what they've gone back years here.
Yeah, and I think the movie is definitely getting at that idea. This is the first post-COVID and post-Brexit one of these movies, and I don't think it can be forgotten how much it's being very nativist and being very sort of like the community that they have, while it seems to have fostered some continuity and it allows them to keep functioning, it still is definitely something where the borders and the limits of where they are has given them permission to only care about themselves, which is kind of Rafe Fines' point, right? That like you guys have closed yourselves off to a lot of potential and a lot of ideas about like the spiritual and the natural world that exist. And you, rather than contending with the fact that the world is changing, contending with the fact that we live in 2025 and everything's on fire, they've kind of gone like, well, I'm going to go underground where it's like I can't feel the flames or see them.
Yeah,
And
what
it's like, but
can we retain? How, like, bury their head in the sand?
Yeah, and I think that they've done a good job of that from an efficiency standpoint and a pretty poor job of it on the level of allowing for... I mean, they can't find the means of articulating to a boy or to his mother, like, you are sick and we need to find a way to deal with this. And we need to find a way to healthily grieve this
find
process.
that
He needs
wild.
to leave the community. Because they don't understand, all they understand is strength and progression. They don't want to think about sort of degradation and weakness. That's what happens outside these walls. But in these walls, that's why if you go and you don't come back, we're not coming for you. Right? Because
I
that's
think
the
in
abandonment
my
of these
brain was
principles.
like, how can you tell a kid how to kill someone? How can you teach them to kill a human being? But you can't sit them down and tell them that your mum's going to die from cancer. Like, how is that the hard conversation?
Yeah. I think it's
Well, they also
just
didn't
that-
understand or
and
didn't
it's his-
know. Maybe.
it's
They
an
know
error.
what cancer is. There can't be a surprise here.
Yeah, but the rejection of Rafe Fines is almost the rejection of death outside of like the basic binary they have of you either kill the zombies or the zombies kill you. That's the two results or the outcomes. And it kind of eliminates the like, no, well, there's like all the other shit that goes along with life that if you manage to survive, you have to deal with. And this community hasn't really found the means of doing that. And I think it's very
it's a good
touching
take.
that Spike has to leave with his mum to find someone to explain it to him.
Yeah, I think that's a really good take.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is too. Yeah. But
Okay, calm down. Fucking hell. Put your pants back on.
I appreciate that.
my God, Thomas.
Find that last section of the movie almost overwhelming. It's very touching to me. Basically, everything from the pregnant zombie. I agree with you, Marcus. I'm mixed on Eric. I think I like him more than you, but I'm mixed on him. But from the pregnant
You
zombie
can
to
shelve
almost the...
pregnant zombie as well.
I
Take
love
that and
pregnant
shove
zombie.
it. No.
I think pregnant zombie's great. I really...
The pregnant zombie, because you see the pregnant zombie 30 minutes in and you go, oh my God, why are they reproducing?
Okay,
And you're like, there's no way they're going to come back to that. Right, surely they're just doing that as a like, isn't that weird? Anyway. But
Explain to me your thoughts on this, Tom. What's going on here, or how does this make sense to you?
I see it as... well, sorry, Frank. No, you started. You go.
No, or two things. I hate to interrupt, but I'm just smarter than both of you, so I'll just jump in here.
This is Frank talking, just so everyone knows.
I thought the baby was going to be alpha. Like, obviously,
He
that's
thought the
what
baby was going to be
happens.
alpha. I'll translate. You keep going.
That's why he's 10 foot tall. Like the new babies are going to be giants and the next generation, next sort of step in the virus's evolution. Although when Rafe Fines says the magic of the placenta, I was like, that's remarkably it's a reductive sort of explanation, but it absolutely works for me.
It makes me laugh in a way where I go, sure. Where he just said, once they say, this is a baby from a zombie, and he goes, yes, I thought that might happen. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. You've been out here for fucking 3 decades. You've gone crazy. Like, you thought anything could happen at this point.
Yeah, but at that point, I was like, the scene, and Jodie Comer we should talk about.
We
wow.
will. Oh,
but
we will.
The scene in the train where she helps the zombie have the baby, which sounds insane, is so powerful. So beautiful.
Speaking of the times I reacted, you might remember, I gasped when they leaked hands.
Yeah, I was
the
like,
second that happened.
No,
I was
I
like,
agree, Tom. I was like, are they serious with this shit?
Nah, I was like, they're serious with this shit.
Because isn't
I
that sort of
just
coming back
couldn't.
to like the talking, like, you know, the motherhood and the gender roles and all this sort of stuff, and it's like the connection of mothers. I don't know.
Give us
I
a
was like,
human being. Give us someone who's not fucking dead having a baby.
Yeah,
Do the same
I know,
thing
but-
with a not zombie, with a not
because
infected.
that
It's
takes
the
away the
magic
point
of the
entirely.
placenta.
The magic of the placenta. No,
I think that the
okay.
tension of a trying to do a quiet birth when you've got infected all around you, I think that would be far more interesting.
They did that in
Yeah, I don't
John
care.
Krasinski's movie.
Yeah,
Quiet
they
Space.
did. Have you seen that?
Quiet
actually?
Space? Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place, Part 2. I didn't think you'd seen that, so
28 places later.
call my bluff.
28 Quiet Places. I
can't agree with you on this, guys. I just think it was just beyond ridiculous.
I went with a friend yesterday to watch this, and it was her first time seeing it. And she came out and she was like, "Zombie baby, boo!" And I was like, "No, zombie baby, good." And she was really
because
into it.
and
I
then
thought it
you
was
see
great.
Jodie Comer. You see Jodie Comer be so nurturing and kind. You go, oh look, I don't know. I found
That's
it
lovely.
incredibly powerful.
It's the entry into Rafe Fines' perspective. It's the liminal space between this closed-off world that they have in their community and the access to this idea of something
Wow,
more.
Tom.
universal and binding. And it's like this baby coming from a zombie is Jodie Comer, and her in her weird sort of delirious state being accessible to that and being our entry point. And then once we meet Rafe Fines, it's like, yeah, we've kind of crossed into a threshold where we don't have to kill the alpha. We can just hit Samson, lovely name, with like a little dart in his neck, and then we can retain that these memento moris, these memories of death and these shrines to it, are representative of not just the people but the new forms that have entered the world. It's him accepting the strangeness of nature, and I think the baby is representative of that in a really interesting and touching way. That's my take. But yes.
And I do hope there's something in this, because I was like, when it finished, I was like, I hope there's a sequel. I didn't know they were already working on a trilogy, so that's exciting, and I do hope that it gives more world building and clarity around the universe and why these things are happening.
I would argue this is the most, not even I hope there is, but there fucking better be a sequel when the credits hit. You're like, excuse me, what just happened?
Okay, I'll give you my quick hot take on this then. If I were to accept what you're saying about the baby scene, because there's a portion of me that can, I think, take the alpha and his relationship with it out of the equation. It's easier for me to digest as a viewer to think that this was a woman who was pregnant, who then became infected, who then gave birth to a baby that's fine. To me, that makes sense. I can create the logic and piece it together that way. For Alpha to walk in, take a look at her and go, me wife dead, me baby, me mad, me chase.
I didn't like that dialogue, I agree.
And then,
I think they could have lost that.
His cock doing ding dong as he ran. It was too much. Take the alpha out of the equation, have the immaculate, like show that there's still a level of humanity left in these things somewhere. It was just so corny.
I mean, I agree, Power, because it is weird that Samson's like, you're like, why are they together? There's no romance.
That's it. Don't humanize them too much. That's the problem here.
But it's been 28 years, so how there's no other way it could have happened. That just opens another question of, wait, where did she come from? If she's, because they've been in quarantine for 28 years later.
No, but there's still survivors out there. I'm saying it's interesting to think that she's a late sort of turn.
Yeah, but it does open another question of, okay, well, where's I know you got Jimmy and his crew, but
are you closing off to? Have you closed off your brain to the fact that the people on the island are the only ones left?
They're not.
No, okay, you're right.
No,
you're right.
Because
I'm already wrong.
Do you mean
I'll take it back. I take it all back.
Do you mean the ones as in on the peninsula? Like once you go through the causeway?
Yeah.
Like they're the only ones?
Yeah.
No. They talk about how there are other towns and things.
That's it.
But,
I think.
I missed that.
He's just like,
sorry,
there are other,
I already said it. I already said I was wrong.
Aaron Taylor Johnson makes a point where he just says like, yeah, we don't need to go to those other ones because they don't have anything we don't have. Right? You know.
Anyway, my point is, I think that this could have been a freshly sort of turned pregnant lady. Very unfortunate circumstance. Take Samson out of the relationship there, and the whole he actively picked his soulmate, had a baby with her, was waiting for her to give birth.
Okay,
there's too much narrative. Well, that's what's happening, though.
Marcus, you saw a different cut of this movie. I think
you're
adding.
You can't tell me that he did not have a visceral reaction when he walked down that train and saw her dead.
That was their home, and he was coming like.
You got to read between the lines here, man.
Yeah,
that's how that scene looked to me. I can't see how anyone else would see it differently.
You're much more perceptive.
He literally opens the train door, takes his hat off, puts it on the coat rack,
puts it on
looks at his wife and goes, "Huh?" Like that, and it starts power running, bro.
Okay, fair.
Okay,
let's talk.
Yes, Marcus, you win that one.
Okay,
had to push it. By fair, I mean that's ridiculous, but
it was. I agree. Continue. Let's move on.
Should we move on to either Butler's Pantry?
Let's do Butler's Pantry because it mostly will just involve the last section of the movie.
Okay, we'll do it. Go.
Oh, I think I know where you're going.
Pantry in the night. The Butler's Pantry.
I have to stop you. Thomas, it's not in the night. It's with a mic.
The butler in the pantry with a knife.
It's his own thing. He doesn't
with a mic.
With a knife.
With a microphone.
With a mic.
You know this. I wrote this song for you.
So funny.
My thing is less pantry-ish than usual of like, hey, like here's something about the making of the film. And
stock is low.
Just do it. What's the
living in a
history on
quarantine.
Jimmy? Go.
Well, yeah, I mean, Jimmy's an interesting one with the cross and like the fact that he wears it upside down. Right in the last shot we see of him when he's running at the end of the opening is the upside down cross emblazoned on the screen, which is obviously
Satan.
more satanic. I thought Frank might get a kick out of that. But yeah, I think I think that the passage with Rafe Fines, Jodie Comer, and Spike at the end, where they have to kind of come to terms with death, is maybe one of the most meaningful efforts a movie of this caliber in this sort of... I mean, this is the same year as Sinners. So I think Sinners really has kind of set the high watermark for a movie dealing with pretty hefty themes and doing it in an entertaining and a characteristically convincing way. But I do think that this final sequence, well, this close to final sequence, where Rafe Fiennes, again, going from... I am a crazy witch doctor who builds a bone house. And then it suddenly cuts to him just being like, now open your mouth and say, ah. And it's like, yeah, that's right. He is a doctor. Like, his job is to check this lady.
Little jar of lollipops.
As soon as he comes in, he does the dart, right? And he just goes, he says it's whatever chemical, it's quite fast acting. And you're like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, we were wrong about you.
It's a great performance. And we can obviously get into our MVPs in a little bit, but I think
I'm taking the dog too.
Yeah.
Asshole. I think that the use of these edifices and these structures that are meant to sort of commemorate the world that is gone and maybe possibly lead the way to the world that might be is one of the most beautiful ways, I think a film can kind of deal with nihilism. And sort of Rafe Fiennes basically goes like, when Spike asks him, what are those? And he says, I've been waiting 30 years for someone to ask me that. I thought I would die before I could tell anyone. These are my tributes to Memento Mori. Remember death, remember that you must die. And so then part of the reason I love Eric is because he's the conduit through which we learn about the process of burning the skull and like scrubbing it clean and then putting Eric on, which I think is a really lovely moment. And I really love Rafe Fiennes' support of Spike. Just he's always very reinforcing. Hasn't really been hearing these gentle tones from other people. It's been a lot more. Even though Aaron Taylor Johnson has sort of been very supportive in, no, you did a good job, lad. You did well, right? Like Rafe Fiennes just constantly sort of telling him it's okay to take your time, to be sort of less deliberate with these things. It doesn't have to be significant in the way that someone else has told you. It's significant in a different kind of way. You know, the skulls themselves may move due to the elements or because of Spike, right? Anyway, this whole section where he tells him that his mum's going to die and explains that process to him is... I just don't have a real understanding of how Garland sat down. All credit to Garland, the screenwriter, and was like, I really want to help people, or maybe even just make something poetically engaged in the idea of tragedy and loss, and do it through a zombie film where the death of someone is not because of the infected, because of the rage, or because of the zombie. It's kind of incidental to that whole thing.
It's truly profound.
Yes. Her having cancer, him explaining that, and then the passage of the movie that I find pretty much unbearable is when Rafe Fiennes says to him that death comes to everyone. Remember what I told you, Memento Mori. Remember you must die. There are many different kinds of death. The best kinds of death are those when we're at peace, when we get to choose and say what we can to those we love. Do you love your mum? And he says yes. And he says to Isla, do you love your son? And Jodie Comer says, so much. And I just don't know why they did that, because that's rude. That's uncouth of them to put something that fucking touching in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's so like
beautiful.
you it's so simple, it's beautiful. Jodie Comer is the most open vessel of an actress.
Stunning.
It's just incredible.
Yeah.
But Alex Garland, you feel like he must have gone through this like last week and then he wrote the script. Like,
yeah, it feels like someone in the midst of trying to cope with this sort of thing.
Like legitimately. And it's so accurate, it's so telling, and yet there is such comfort to Spike, there is such comfort to the audience. When they sort of sedate Spike and then they sedate Jodie Comer's character, and then they walk her away, and you're like, I'm not ready for this, but she is, and so is Spike, and you go, okay, I guess we're okay. And it's like, it's an immediate lesson in grief.
It's dealing with euthanasia so beautifully as well, which
That's true. Honestly,
Yeah.
not just a thing that kind of gets
Yeah.
thrown in there as like, this is a humane way
Yeah.
of engaging with this.
and I don't think there's too many
Yeah.
films that have dealt with that, I think, as well that I can think of. Unless you've got an example.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna be honest,
Amour is a very beautiful but tragic French film from years ago that kind of deals with it, and you know, there are a handful of other films. What's the one with Javier Bardem? Behind the Sea, Beyond the
No
Sea,
Country
one
for
where
Old
he's-
Man.
That's the one. Sorry. Yes.
He uses the
that's what I meant.
shotgun.
Yes.
I think this is tricky for a lot of people, and this is what took me so long to wrap my head around this film as a whole, because of the gravitas of a scene like this thrown into this film. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? This is not a 28 Days film. In a way,
It's true.
It
feels very jarring.
It becomes something so much more. And that's not a shit on. I mean, I adore, like I said, 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks for what it brings to the screen for me. A bit more of an action type, but this is the thing. This anthology, they're sub stories. They're all part of this world, and it's just a different take, and it's covering different themes and energies in this world.
I think this whole section puts this in the Oscars. I think it could easily be a zombie movie. Yep, Danny Boyle's back. It's the third one. Great, whatever. This trend, it elevates the movie to such a degree.
But I can
I
see
was
why-
flabbergasted.
Yeah, you can see why people didn't like it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that did.
I think people
I
who
still
went in
don't
with-
think they even know why they liked it, to be honest. I think this is such a great film to process and think about.
because it lets you feel everything. You feel
It does.
everything during
It
this
does.
ride.
It is
Absolute
a
roller
movie
coaster.
like bursting with ideas. Like, it
Yep.
reminded me a lot of Nope in that way, where it's like, I don't think I liked this as much as I was very impressed with how ambitious it was. But the more I think about that, I'm like, I do actually think I liked this more than I think. Talking about this, I've already decided I like this movie more than I did 40 minutes ago.
Yeah, I think I have
really,
too.
I really enjoyed this, and hearing you guys talk about even the things that you found wrong with it, I'm kind of like trying to reason in my head, like, well, why didn't that bother me? Like, why did that's it okay? Why was I into the zombie baby and Eric and all that?
Look, again, it's a choice at the end of the film to go with your Power Ranger setup and people parkouring and flipping around and the costumes and stuff. What I was going to say was, and I thought you would cover in your pantry, Tom, is the background on Jimmy for what it represents to the UK. Do you know about this?
No, not at all.
Oh,
sorry,
okay, so-
you got me here.
I'm going to give you the information here that I've understood. Now, it's probably going to be inaccurate in some portions, but interesting to look further into, should I say. Jimmy is and was a children's entertainer back in the UK some time ago. What Jimmy represents, the guy that they're portraying in this film, very obviously, and it's only people from the UK that know
Jimmy
the
Savile.
reference.
Yeah, you talking like he's meant to
You're talking about
seem
Jimmy
like
Savile?
Yeah, I think is it Jimmy Savile?
Well, that's interesting because he's a renowned child sex offender.
There we go. So
and
this is
it's kind of playing on that.
yes,
Yeah,
it is playing on this, and I
wow.
think that's why there's such a reaction to this film, because they're like, this is Jimmy. His father's a priest. He's doing what he's doing, and he's wearing the outfits and the costumes. It's outrageous. It's all leaning towards it, and it
You're not
changes everything if that's what they're doing.
Now you've said that, I'm like, I only know Jimmy Savile because of the Louis Theroux documentary, and I'm like, he did kind of dress like that.
I don't know too much
that's
about this. This is all news to me,
undeniable.
but this is
Yeah.
this is the
I
food for
just-
thought to process.
I just
if that's
hope
what they're
there's
going
no
for.
way.
Well, if they are though, that changes everything with now encountering Spike.
that would it's true. That would be
Think
a
about it.
disgusting, awful idea to do. Why would Danny Boyle and Alex Garland do that?
Yeah.
What if they
Like-
have?
Yeah, sure. Great question.
Yeah.
But why in the fuck would they
Exactly.
do that? There's no way they would. There's just no way they would.
Now, if audiences
I
are pieces
fucking pray
together and
to
they're way
someone.
off, then it's a wild comparison and good for them. I think I'm with you in saying that I kind of hope that's not where they're going with it. I think, but then it kind of makes sense. I don't know.
no,
I had to look into it because, of course, the first thing I researched when I finished this movie was tell me more about this ending. Anyone give a take on this, and that is the universal sort of take on this, especially coming out of the UK. That's who that they're portraying here. So anyway, look into that, listeners. You too.
I still am a big fan of Jack O'Connell's performance, and I think it's
what an actor.
Apart from Samson, the probably most scene-stealing part of the movie, especially with my favorite thing now seeing it twice. Even though he's just kind of like very very sinister, but in that way very sing-song charming. But I love his hold, a fucking go. Like I really like that how he gets them started.
Do you know who I also thought it was when he first popped onto screen? I thought it was Rafe Fines.
Similar energy.
That's honestly who I thought it was. He looked like Spike from
Notting Hill.
Notting Hill.
Yes.
Great. Quickly, let's do MVP. I'll just cut your audio for that section. That'll be great.
Okay.
I mean, if it's not Jodie Comer, I'm going to probably say Rafe. I think Rafe gets it for me in this.
I think it's a toss-up between the two. Definitely.
Oh.
Performance-wise, anyway. Really.
I think Alfie Williams.
He's great. There's no denying
he's really good. And, like, nothing else would land if he didn't work, and he works so well.
This is tough. I mean, the performances across the board were very good.
I mean, we talk about Rafe Fines, who, like, was Voldemort for a generation, and then for him to come in and do this...
Yeah.
Talking about containing multitudes.
I think my favorite actor of all time. He really does.
No, do you know, like, I'll ride the bit with you on this one, Tom, because he might actually be my maybe top three.
I will say
he's pretty great.
I was thinking about him yesterday after watching the movie, and I was like, I don't know how I could make a top 10 or 15 without him in it. Just by dint of, like, he's been...
Well, 1 to 14 would be Joe Pesci, and then he would be 15.
That's a good point, yes. Yeah. 100%.
All right, so is anyone going to throw anything in?
I would like to say one other thing. If that's
Go
okay.
on. Okay.
I just think it's
Since you asked so nicely
that we've continued to do this. We're all still working on the pod together. You, me, and the other guy.
Dupree.
Yeah, that's it. And I really think it's wonderful that we've still got this going. And it's seamless. I don't think there have been any problems this entire time.
No, they haven't. Good point.
Thank you to the goat who weighed in there, I guess. Marcus, you're the goat, as you know.
I'm the goat,
always,
yeah. Thank you.
Greatest of all
time.
But no, I think this has been really fantastic. So thank you, listener, for sticking by us through thick and thin. Who knows what the future will bring?
No one is listening to this bit. Like, no one's here anymore.
Oh my God.
That was, I
didn't expect you to say yes when I asked if I could say something.
Oh, you're
so
such
that's
a
on you.
dick.
Who's throwing in the POW? Who's throwing in the POW?
I'll go up to an 8.7.
Throw in the POW!
I liked it a little more. Talking about it. I really appreciate it.
I'm coming up with you, POW. Reach out and help me up.
Oh, reach out and touch
somebody.
What did I say? 7.5.
Why is your hand wet?
I think this was an 8.5.
Yeah!
Okay, well,
that's all we had time. Oh, sorry.
No, well, that's the credits rolling, so that's fine. We don't know when they're going to end, but I'll time this out later.
Are you not throwing in the power, Frank?
Well, yeah.
What would you like to go to?
700. Hey!
Brilliant.
Thanks for listening to Throw the Power.
My name's Marcus.
My name's Tom.
Hey, send us a DM on Instagram, Throw the Power, or Throw the Power. Give us a comment or subscribe, like, all those things.
DM's dirty message, right? Dirty message.
Follow us on Duolingo. We're all learning Portuguese.
Portuguese, please.